is it Scuderia, you went to drive for in Formula One, Toro Rosso, and those 2 years, was it kinda like going back home? Those
No,
tracks after knowing them?
it was like going to hell. Yeah, I mean, it was a very, very tough experience. Obviously, you spend your whole career hoping, trying to get to F1 and you make it a goal. And obviously I got there on the heels of, winning just about everything there was on the Champ Car side
Yeah,
and
you were
being
fresh off of 4 back-to-back-to-back championships.
yeah, and obviously being working with more than a family, more than a race team, and we had built such a tight, group over there, and yeah, I arrived in F1, and initially they said they were looking for a leader and they needed direction and development and stuff, and then I arrived and Vettel was already signed up, uh, and they really didn't need any of what they signed me for. They were not doing the development. The car was made by Red Bull Technology, who was making the car really for Red Bull Racing, who were using a Renault engine. We were using a Ferrari. So different installation, different weight distribution, different everything. And yeah, it just became very apparent super fast that I was going to be in trouble because pretty much the car was the car. They were not in a position to make any development, good, bad, or indifferent, as far as my driving style, which is quite particular, and I don't do very well at driving any cars, and that's what they needed. They needed a guy that could jump in the car and, regardless of what the developments would do to the balance, just pull 100% out of whatever the car was that day, and that wasn't me.
So clearly you saw that, developing early on and it was not going to be a situation or good situation. How quickly were you trying to get on the phone? Were you trying to morph back over here to IndyCar?
Yeah, I mean, I did. At the end of 2008, I knew I was in trouble. Obviously, I mean, not that we had a terrible season. I think I was 6 out of the last 7 races in Q3. But Vettel was flying, and I as soon as the new car arrived, like the first 4 or 5 races, we had the old car, and it was pretty much 3-2 in qualifying and very closely matched because back then the car was a little bit more adjustable. You could do things, and then the new car came out and it was just a disaster for me, and so right away it was a much higher potential car, and Vettel started to deliver some awesome results. We were first and fourth on the grid in the wet at Monza, where he ended up winning the race. My car stalled on the grid, funny enough. But yeah, I mean, and it was just it seemed like it was ill-timed because nothing worked out. We're fourth 2 laps to the end on the first race in Australia. Drive shaft failure. Every time something seemed to be coming up, it's like we're fourth again in Spa. A couple laps to the end, starts raining. We finished seventh. That starting spot at Monza, just a glimpse of little um, kind of good results, maybe,
Moments of brilliance?
and then
Yeah.
slipping away. So at that point, it was like when I got the offer for a fraction of the money to keep going for 2009 with Toro Rosso, it was more by default because I didn't have anything, and then it went even worse with the slick tires. Front tires went way bigger, rear tires were smaller. Mechanically, the car was even harder to drive for me, and it was it. So big reset button, and it was very hard to kind of get thrown out that way and stuff, but at the same time, it was kind of a relief, and then started full time with Peugeot for a couple of years, and yeah, the rest is history.